Hey, it's Cornette Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are on a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett, First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Barton, Mid-South Joy World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm just living the life, Conrad. How you doing, buddy?
Better than I deserve. Excited to be with you. Loving all things 1986, and we keep the train on the tracks today for June 14th. Can you believe we're like halfway through this experiment of 1986?
It's amazing that it's, I'd like to thank a lot of people for helping us continue to go this far, with the advent of the cock.
Yeah.
But we've had some help, and we appreciate that. And it's really brought back some great memories of some great things that went down in 1986. Now, as we come to you today, we are about 2 weeks away from the Great American Bash. And that's when some crazy things start to happen. So it's great. It really is great. It's one of those things where things happen quickly, I know, and time goes by quickly, but you don't want 1986 to end.
No, I don't.
And I say that because, as we know, history has taught us that as you go into 1987, things are not as good.
Well, you know what though? I still think it'll be fun for us to, I hear what you're saying, but it'll still be fun for us to watch 1987.
Yeah.
Because it's such a critical year. What we're watching right now is the best year in the history of Jim Crockett Promotions. They've never had a top line gross that could come anywhere close to this.
Right.
And in 87, they're going to keep a lot of that momentum going, but the expenses get out of control. So the profit's just not there.
Right.
And they're still making money hand over fist at the gate, but they're spending a lot on the back end. And before you know it, it becomes a disastrous year. A lot of that has to do with the end of 1987 and the pay-per-view controversy where essentially Vince McMahon sabotaged Starrcade.
Yeah.
And the company never recovered, but We're a long way from that. And this is sort of, as Eric Bischoff said the other day on For the Heat, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And then he said, hey, I think that was in a movie. I'm like, no, that's a book. But anyway, chat me up. What do you think about, you've heard the news, I'm sure. Eric Bischoff has a radio show in 2021, a radio show, like not a podcast, not something on Sirius XM, a traditional terrestrial radio show in 2021. Were you shocked to hear that Bischoff is getting in the radio game, baby?
I really was. And I was shocked to hear that there was a radio station in Cody, Wyoming.
Right.
And I guess what's next for Eric is to publish a newspaper.
I mean, I'm ready for it, really, if I'm honest.
I really am too.
Well, I'm just saying he's always been real mean to mine and your mutual friend, Dave Meltzer. And it's like, well, let's see how good of a writer you are, big boy. Let's see.
Damn straight.
Well, listen,
I know I can write. I'm a good writer.
When Eric has a newspaper, I need you to have the editorial section. Cause I can just imagine, I don't give a damn about your politics. Fuck it. TS.
That would be my first column. My second column would start off with, it was the best of times. It was the worst.
I think that was from a movie. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I was just saying that would be so good. By the way, I just assume if you really did have an editorial, one of your very first columns would probably be about you motherfuckers in these pickup trucks.
Oh, glad you said that. Cause Los and I have been on the road quite a bit with the dogs.
Did you lose a bet?
You would think. And every son of a bitch and motherfucking pickup truck that comes by us is just, I mean, they ride right up on your ass and then they swerve around to the right to get by you. But didn't have Lois and the dogs. I'd run those fuckers down.
And what would you do with them? Feed them parking lot panties?
No, I'd swerve around them and get in front of them, you know, little interstate jockeying, stuff like that.
Tony, you
hear the dogs?
We should address. I love hearing Kevin Sullivan in the background.
Okay.
You and I got together this past weekend. You were our very special surprise guest at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It was the very first live podcast for My World with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
We're at the world famous Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Of course, you didn't miss up a chance to get some crab cakes, and you were a very special surprise guest. And I want to thank you for that. But did we have perhaps the most depraved story in the history of professional wrestling live shows? I'll never forget the look on your face. Your eyes were bugging out of your head. And then later we were trying to sell chicken salad, and well, it was a happening, was it not?
Yeah, it was. It's great going back to Jimmy's Famous Seafood, and it's great reconnecting with Jeff Jarrett. First time Jeff and I have seen each other face to face, and I don't know. I think the last time I saw Jeff was we did JR's show in Orlando. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
Golly, that feels like 100 years ago, doesn't it?
It sure does. Yeah. But I'm glad for the success of his podcast and the crazy things that happened in his life as well. So good stuff, man.
You know,
it's good seeing the fans again.
I kind of forgot we did that show in Orlando, but do you remember that was literally right after Jan was,
yeah,
you know,
because we talked about him not doing the show.
I just assumed he wouldn't.
Right. But
and
he
so,
wanted to put it all behind him. So
I wanted to take his mind off things and keep working. And golly, dude.
What year was that? That had to be like 2018, maybe?
That was 2017.
2017. Wow. So it's, holy snakes, it's been 4 years.
I mean, but it feels like a lot longer than that.
It does. No, it does. It feels like, I mean, with the pandemic, things have like changed, and time is just like before the pandemic seems like a million years ago. But it's good. It's good that we're getting out. It's good things are going back into shape, and it was great seeing some of the fans. And hey, it was great eating Jimmy's Famous Seafood because it's the best restaurant in the world.
Hey, been wanting to ask about this. You know, since you guys are on a bit of a break on AEW. By the way, that doesn't mean Dynamite's going anywhere. It just means because of the NBA schedule, they're getting ahead and they want to be ready and be prepared because, well, playoff basketball, who knows what's going to happen. But anyway, according to the rumor and innuendo, this means that there's good chance that you're not going to be hanging out with our old pal Rebel in real life for a little bit. Are you going to go through Rebel withdrawals?
No, we text every day.
Are you FaceTiming though?
If I might, yeah, that'd be a pretty good idea.
I'm just saying, like, to me, you aren't going to get your Rebel fix with a few words. Cause I've seen the way you look at her and you have that twinkle in your eye.
Well, who doesn't?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying. By the way, can I just tell you that, one of the things I do with my phone, and I think you know this about me, is I'll program everybody in my phone in the contact section, but I'll also put some sort of note of how I can remember them. And I got that because over the years, my dad became sort of famous for, I got a guy. So if you're like, oh man, I was walking around the backyard, found a shingle in my yard. I think I got a problem with my roof. My dad would go, I got a guy. Or you might say, man, I got some dead spots in my front lawn. I've tried everything I can. I can't figure out what to do. Dad would say, I got a guy.
Right.
You know, that downstairs toilet, man, that thing will run forever. And I've tinkered with it and tried to put a new kit in. I thought at first it was just the chain, but something's going on. I got a guy. Well, you know, I was driving to work this morning and I felt like as I was coming up the mountain, I felt it skip a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't want to take it to the dealership. They're going to rake me over the coals. I got a guy. So my dad, once I understood, oh, here's my roof guy. Here's my transmission guy. Here's my yard guy, whatever.
Right.
I started to position myself in my real life as Conrad, the mortgage guy, which is what you still see me refer to myself as on social media.
That's right.
I programmed myself in my own phone that way so I can share contact information with other people. And I don't want to be Conrad Thompson in their phone. I want to be Conrad, the mortgage guy. So if you're thinking of me at maybe you're at your kid's little league game or whatever, and somebody that you're friendly with says, oh yeah, we've been thinking about buying a house. I guess we're going to need to go down to the bank and get pre-qualified or whatever people say. I would like for you, if you've done business with me, to say, oh, I got a guy. What was his name? It was a heavy set guy. He was kind of funny, a little foul, had a beard, had a real pretty wife. Don't know how he did that. I mean, he's a good salesman. What was his name? Chad, Channing, Connie. What was his last name? Now, if you just pull up your phone and you're in your contact list and you type in mortgage, it'll probably be your current mortgage company, whoever that may be, and Conrad, the mortgage guy. So I made myself easy to refer. So I do that with everybody. Now, that was an end around story for me to explain that to this day, whenever Rebel calls me or texts me, or a few weeks ago when she was hanging out with that nothing happening Corey Ryan Forrester, she FaceTimed me and it pops up on the phone, Rebel, the lady wrestler. And I clearly programmed that about 2018. And so I laughed out loud when I saw the name. And I thought, I got to fix that. So now I've managed to do a scratch through and it says Reba line through it, Rebel. So it's at least sort of on gimmick now. Yeah,
right. It's current.
Yes.
She has certainly evolved in our lives from Rebel, the lady wrestler, hasn't she?
Oh, she's she's our low key work girlfriend now from adfreeshows.com.
She's the best. She literally is one of the funniest girls ever.
We got to get Chris to make a video, just highlights of you and Rebel together. And then we'll have it put to people. Let me tell you about my best friend.
That'd be good.
Come on. That'd be so fun.
Yeah. I have, And she loves being on ad-free shows. She loves all the staff members. She's just so nice. And
did we put her in the right gimmick or what? Hey, can you just drink and talk to people?
Yeah,
she's phenomenal at it. She should do it as a full-time gig.
I know. And she's pretty close to being a 10, isn't she?
Buddy.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it? And that helps out a great deal.
In our group chat, I mean, it used to be nicknamed Rebel Fan Club. Mm-hmm. It was a little soccer show. I was like, guys, you know that, like, we know her. This is not a person we don't. Let's ratchet some of this back a little bit. Yeah, people are just excited.
Yeah, let me ask you something. You threw something out there that kind of pisses me off.
Hang on, let me come back to piss me off. Let's just pause for a minute, and then you can get in my ass. I had a conversation with her randomly with someone who doesn't work for AEW, and I can't tell you where they work, but they and they said, by the way, that girl is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, yeah, duh. He's like, no. Pictures don't do her justice. In person, I'm like, oh no, I get it. He's like, there's just something about her. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'll tell you off air who it is. I can't say here, but it tickled me that this person who, when I tell you the name, you'll be like, what? But they had an interaction once and they were like, dude. And I was like, no, I get it. I understand. You don't understand what we're doing over at adfreeshows.com, but everybody who meets her is like, oh, are you my favorite person? I think you are. Anyway, you're mad at me and I'm a piece of shit and you hate me. Continue.
No. Well, that's true. But, I'm pissed off to hear that she hung out with Corey Ryan Forrester. Now that is a beautiful woman hanging out with a turd, which will get anybody pissed off. How did that little weasel slide in there?
Well, he's her co-host on Rebels Happy Hour.
Oh,
you know, we got to have a co-host to sort of play the heel whenever somebody gets out of line or, I was always conscious of, especially if there's alcohol involved, I don't want a female talent of ours who's there to entertain and make you happy and make you laugh and make sure you have a good time to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So if some guy was, taking it too far or said something rude or inconsiderate or whatever, I needed somebody to be able to ease them out of that situation and try to do it in a funny way and not in a confrontational way. So I thought, let's hire a comedian. And when I couldn't find one, we settled on Corey. I knew you would like that. I knew when I went around the block, you would be like, okay, this is good.
You sent me, I think it was you that sent me a screenshot of Corey doing something on MTV.
Yeah. He was on the MTV Movie Awards a few weeks back. And it was a pretty big deal when you think about it, that somebody from our group chat and ad-free shows all of a sudden was on stage at the MTV Movie Awards. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That is kind of cool. And my response was, hey, how about if he would really be funny?
You said,
that'd be funny. Yeah.
The line was, you would think they would have found someone funny.
Yeah.
Which was funny. Hey, speaking of funny, it's funny we've been talking 15 minutes and we haven't pressed play yet. We're going to in just a moment. It is a watch along. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's not on the network. I'm not going to watch. Well, here's the deal, man. All you've got to do is look in the comments. And I'm of the opinion that if you really want to watch along with us and take a look at what we're doing here, you should just, look in the comments. And I think there you'll find everything you're looking for. And I'm hopeful that you're going to find everything you're looking for here in a couple of weeks, because we've got not one, but 2 specials coming up. At the end of June 30th, in fact, we're going to be taking a look at the Great American Bash 1986 from Charlotte, North Kakalaki.
Wow.
And then on July 28th, to finish out the month of July, just like we finished out the month of June, I guess it's July 21st. My apologies. We're going to be watching the Great American Bash 1986 from Greensboro. And those are very special shows. One's a stadium show and one is a title switch show. How about that?
That's right. That's the big Dusty and Ric Flair match. And the stadium show that we're going to see from Charlotte is really the home of the Great American Bash, because if I recall, there was a Great American Bash the year before, but it was only one in Charlotte at the stadium. And that's not the stadium where they play football now.
Right.
That's the old stadium that I'm sure has been torn down. Maybe not, but it probably has been torn down in downtown Charlotte. And that was Ric Flair and Ricky Morton.
I want to mention too, it's not going to be just you and I doing this.
No, that's right. We're going to have, it's going to be an all-star lineup, so to speak.
It's going to be something special. And how about this? I want to mention, as you're listening to this, if you're on the main feed, tomorrow night at adfreeshows.com, we're going to be doing a live interactive Q&A experience with Baby Doll.
Wow.
So we're on brand for all things 1986. If you're loving what we're doing, scoot over to adfreeshows.com. We're going to level up this experience. June 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern, a live Q&A with Baby Doll. 1986 is going to be well covered. And oh, by the way, just as a sampling, 2 days prior to that, so if you're listening to us on the main feed yesterday, we had a live Q&A with Kurt Angle.
Okay.
A few days from now, on the 20th, we'll have a live Q&A with Eric Bischoff. It's pretty crazy when you think about all the stuff we've got planned as far as live interactive experiences. Of course, Rebel, who we love, she's on every other Sunday. Don't miss it. It's adfreeshows.com, early and ad free. And of course, lots of bonus content. But here on the main feed, even, we're going to be covering not one, but two very special Great American Bash shows, one from Charlotte, one from Greensboro, that includes a world title switch. And it won't just be Tony and I. We're going to have some fun surprises for you, but no surprise that we're talking about June 14th, 1986 today. I've found the link in the comments. I'm ready to watch it. If you are, Tony, it feels like we just need a little bit of a countdown now.
Okay, let's go to this week's special countdown for this year.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com.
There's Kevin Sullivan. Kevin, stop it. He's licking himself. Where was I? Let's go to this week's special countdown here on What Happened When.
Hey, Tony, you old slapdick. It's the biggest Sooner fan, just shy of good old JR on the Ad Free Shows Network, and your favorite accountant, Jason Taylor. So you and Conrad need a countdown? Well, here it is. 3, 2, 1, play.
How about the fan response to this, man?
Get up, Arn. Dude, how hot were they for the Midnight Express? That old silly, let's just throw the bad guys into each other spot. And one of the things I love watching these old clips is even the punches, the whole crowd, ooh, ooh, all together with every punch. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's, you didn't have to sweeten the crowd. You didn't have to do anything, man. It was there.
Speaking of there, looking at him.
Gentlemen, welcome to World Championship Wrestling. Rock and roll is here to stay. You saw what they did to the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. He's here. Also, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. All the greats in the wrestling world are right here, Tony.
And a lot of great news. Our update on the Great American Bash 86 here today once again. News on the Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour contest. As you know, 3 contests involved with that tour, and we'll be talking about that once again today. David, we also have a gigantic man here with us today called the Warlord that you want to take a very good look at.
He is a monster. You got to see this guy.
really is one of the biggest men in wrestling. He is with us here today, and like you said, all the top stars of the world today, the return of Ole Anderson wrestling right here in our studios today.
That's right. All four horsemen are back together. You've got to watch that.
Okay, let's bring in right now to talk with us to the top of the program, none other than Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant.
Hey, Jimmy.
All right, Boogie Man feels good today, baby. I want to tell you something, Jack. There's no more running, no more hiding, no more peeping, and no more jiving. Tony, it came down to this, baby. They took my hair, they took my wig, they took my tail, they took my braid. Well, I'm gonna take somebody's skull, Jack. I'm not Indian, you understand? But I do got a little Wahoo McDaniel in me, and it's coming down to this. Somebody's gonna be a bald-headed geek. I want you to take a little look at this. Roll that little picture out for my people, or my thousands of people out there. Take a look at this, people. All right, Paul Jones with hair. You see it?
Yes, I do.
Watch this magic, Jack. This is nothing but magic. Watch it, people. It's coming. Paul Jones, a bald-headed geek. This is what Paul Jones is going to be like. He's going to look like. Because if he don't, brother, I'm going to look like it. I'm going to be bald. Paul Jones going to be bald. I'm going to be bald. Pistol Pez Whatley going to be bald. And it's nothing but gospel, baby. One of us is going to lose our hair. All right. All right.
Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man Vine, let's go to the ring.
All right.
All right, lots to unpack there. First of all, did David always refer to the enforcer as Iron Anderson?
Yes. Always. IRON.
Iron, like Iron Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, boy,
Right.
this shirt's wrinkly. I sure do wish Lois knew how to iron. Right? Iron Anderson. That stuck out like a sore thumb. And I don't know if you noticed it, and I could be wrong, but I think this is a week where y'all were trying new microphones.
Yes, we were. As a matter of fact, you can see that. And of course, all the equipment is TBS's equipment, and they would come out with this stuff. So, but they wasn't the old
silver, big old microphones.
That silver microphone that a lot of times, the windscreen would fall off of.
Yes. Especially if Flair was out there and like spinning around with his coat or his robe or whatever, it would just pull it right off the end. Like
This
you
is
trying to use a condom. It's just going to slip right off,
I never remembered trying one of those.
You never tried one? Oh, I met all your kids. That's a stupid
Hang on
question.
a second. Did I ever use a condom? Once? You think? Okay. Once, she thinks.
I don't know. Maybe you should have used it once more for Jobber Schiavone, but continue. Oh, I missed that. What'd she say?
I don't remember that far back.
Oh, well.
There you go. What else to talk about?
We're talking about the windscreen coming off the new microphones.
This windscreen was kind of square and had a round cap on it. And so it just locked down on the microphone. And so it wouldn't fall off. So I'm thinking that had something to do with it.
I'll tell you this, it's a much more sensitive mic. As you're adjusting your grip, you can hear it.
Right.
And that's obviously less than ideal because you can do whatever you wanted with that old silver one. It's going to pick up what they're saying, but not your hand maneuvering.
Right.
But buddy, when you've got a microphone that it feels like it's down in here in the base,
Yes.
as you adjust your gross or your grip, you're just going to ruin the audio.
That's how it always happens. Once you adjust your grip, things change.
Hey, here's my question. I mean, and I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm not saying this to pick on. I'm really trying to understand. If this is TBS equipment, and Lord knows eventually Turner's just going to straight up own the whole wrestling promotion, and we would still sort of poke fun at the production. How did Vince McMahon, who just owns a wrestling company, somehow have better production than an actual television company? I just don't get it.
Well, first of all, with the exception of there was another live show they taped. It was like a funny talk show. What was that called?
Tuesday Night Titans.
No, I'm talking about TBS.
Oh,
a guy had somebody had a talk show on TBS. Oh, it was not a talk show. It was a comedy skit show. You remember Jan Hooks, who was on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
And she's no longer with us. Really funny girl. She was on Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
What about Tush?
That's exactly what it was. Bill Tush. Okay.
TUSH is the name of the show.
Right. With the exception of Tush and us, they didn't do live stuff there. It was a studio these people were very inexperienced in doing TV. And again, like I told you many times, they brought in, the kids who worked there. Would you like to run camera today? Sure. Would you like to be a producer or do something backstage? Sure, absolutely. How about a stage manager? Yeah. I mean, so it was a very, very inexperienced crew. And TBS was known for the Braves. And they had a crew there to the Braves. The Braves crew didn't really work for us because they had baseball. And with the exception of us, they were a TV station that kind of just put up Andy Griffith and rolled tape, right? So, and Vince was smarter than us in many ways. He knew that when we would pay guys hundreds of thousands of dollars, the old school way, he would pay production people and get great production people in there. His production people came from Baltimore, you know that, with Nelson Swegler and his crew. And Kevin Dunn is from Baltimore. And they had a production house there that knew how to do TV. We were just a bunch of old school jackoffs.
Right.
That's what it was. Speaking of old school jackoffs, got to listen to this one.
Oh, here we go. Roll it in.
To get into also.
This is a start. I want everybody to know, and you in particular, Rhodes, and your whole band of merry men, I want you to know that the four horsemen are back. You take a look. You see what's happening in the ring here. Always 3-4 people ganging up on Arn, ganging up on Rick, ganging up on Tully. This is where I made my entrance. 6 months I'm laying there. Andersons are back. The four horsemen are back. And still people haven't learned. These two rock and rollers, I think they can beat everybody. There's too much of Dusty Rhodes in them. There's too much of Magnum T.A. in them. But watch what happens when the four horsemen are back together. Take a look now. How does Ricky look? Not so good. How does Robert look? Not so good. But there's one man that I'm waiting for. One man above all else. And I know that he just can't sit back and watch. He's got to stick his nose into everybody's business. And here's the guy I'm talking about. Right here, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Only this time, instead of standing up and walking tall and looking great and being the American Dream, he's on his knees. And you know what he's doing on his knees? You know what he's doing, Tony?
No.
He's begging. He's help me. Help, please help. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, Rhodes, it's over for you. You had 5-6 months of vacation time, and now it's time for you to pay some dues. And I'm not fooling. I'm not joking. I told him before, I'm not going to finish, not quit, until I get rid of Dusty Rhodes. And you're going to see it happen. I'm going to make a big prediction here in a little while, so you just stay tuned, because I'll make the biggest and most important prediction of my career right here on TV.
Okay, a prediction will be coming up very soon, and we're coming right back.
I'm so glad Ole's back. Wow. Such a believable promo. I'm in. I'm ready to hear the prediction right fucking now. Oh, here we go.
It's not a wrecking crew, Ole and Arn Anderson, and a prediction you talked about.
Well, you know, they call me a Rhodes scholar now because I know more about Dusty Rhodes than any man on earth. Prediction I'm going to make is this. Rhodes can't stay very long. His body is getting punished too much, and with me coming back like that, I'm sure he sees a light. And I predict this year, sometime in 1986, that Dusty Rhodes is going to announce his retirement. And when he does, it's going to be a great day for the Four Horsemen. When he does, I'm going to buy beer for everybody all around. Wherever you see me, you walk up and you just tell me, Dusty Rhodes retired, and I'm going to buy you a beer, I'm going to buy you a meal. And you be looking, because it's going to happen. You see some of these other people looking at Magnum T.A., one of the boys that follows around like a little puppy dog behind Dusty Rhodes. How about the Rock and Roll Express? I'll tell you something about the Rock and Roll Express. They're good, they're young, they're strong, they come back from injuries. That's important to be young. But I'll tell you this, they're scared. You look at them, they're scared. They're scared now that the Four Horsemen are back. They're scared that the Andersons are together. You don't have to believe me. Go ask them. Go ask the Rock and Roll Express. We're too big, we're too strong, we're just too good. Anybody that gets in our way, they're going to find out just how good we are. The Four Horsemen back, we're going to take everything. We're going after the World Tag, we're going after the single, which we've now got, we're going to keep. We're going to take that US, we're going to have the TV, we're going to have them all. Anybody gets in our way, they're going to find out. Rhodes, you're a marked man. Jimmy Valiant, no problem. Magnum T.A., no problem. Rock and Roll Express, no problem. We're going through y'all. I told you before, I'm dead serious. We don't do a lot of cute stuff. I don't want to yell and don't want to holler. Just want to tell you like it is. We're straight from the shoulder when we say we're better than anybody else. If you don't believe it, you try us. And I don't mean just in the ring. I mean anywhere. I mean we're that good. And I guarantee you, you get a little taste of the Andersons, you get a little taste of the Four Horsemen. You're not going to like it. We're here to stay. We're going to beat everybody that we meet. We're going to take all the belts that we can take. The Four Horsemen are back. The Andersons are back.
What can I say to top that, Tony Schiavone? Go get him, Telly!
The Andersons.
Prove what we just started.
The Andersons are back. Let's go to the ring.
Dude.
You can't do a better promo than that.
I got a little chill bump Jones over here. Ole, underrated. You know, listen, you knew this. You grew up with Ole. I did not. You know, I didn't start watching wrestling until 1988. So my first exposure to Ole Anderson was like old tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude, that promo right there, that's a few in a row now from Ole where I'm like, golly, dude, he's on fire.
He, a couple of things about that interview. One thing brought back something to my memory, which I think is, I'm glad this show does this, or these 1986 shows do this. When Ole said, if you come up to me and you say, Dusty Rhodes is retired, I'm going to buy you a beer, I'm going to buy you a meal.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we all had a big laugh about that.
Because he don't buy nobody nothing.
Nobody. He held on to the first dollar he ever made.
Yes.
He was the tightest motherfucker. So we kind of gave him shit about that. Second of all, he used to do this promo back in the old Mid-Atlantic days where he would challenge you if you were out there. If you didn't like the way he performed in the ring, if you didn't like the way he conducted his business, then the only thing you had to do was challenge him.
Yeah.
His old line was, if you're a truck driver, I know a lot of you truck drivers think you're tough. You really think you're tough? Okay, then why don't you step in my face or something like that? He used to challenge people. And that's probably one of the reasons that he was stabbed back then, you know, because
he asked for it.
He asked for it. Exactly. So, but he was just so damn good and so damn believable.
Believable is the right word.
Yeah. Right. And there was nobody like him. And I'm thinking about all the people that we have connected with, and we're going to have some special people on this show. And, you know, I know Tully now. I've reconnected with him, and of course Arn backstage. And
before I forget, I want to mention, hypothetically, need you to put a bug in Tully's ear.
Okay,
Amy, one of our top gals over at adfreeshows.com, she's a huge Tully fan. And she said, hey, hypothetically, she's already picking up my words. She's like, hypothetically, do you think when we do our low-key big hog and top guy get together in Chicago, hypothetically, is there a chance we can have a surprise run in by Tully Blanchard? And I'm like, hypothetically, I'll see. But you know, I figure you go straight to Tony, and Tony does his sweet talking.
I can do that. I can do some sweet talking, as you know.
Oh, we know. I mean, you can get some sweet sugar wouldn't melt in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say easy for?
I didn't know where you were going to go when you said, "Oh, we know."
Oh, wait. You think I would ever say anything that was rude or disparaging about you?
I was thinking somebody else. I was thinking maybe I was talking to Silva or I don't know, somebody else.
If let's speaking of Silva, let me ask you a question. Hypothetically, let's say you and Silva were going to meet at an arena. Okay.
Okay.
So, hey, Silva, meet me down at such and such arena. Following me so far?
Sure.
And you're on the phone with him and you call him and you're like, Silva, where the fuck are you at? He's trying to explain where he is. And then you start trying to explain where you are. Yep. And you say the phrase, if you were to say the phrase, I'm by the elephant door. Would you know what that meant?
No.
Really?
Now, unless I was at a circus 10 years ago and they don't have elephants in circuses anymore, or unless I was at the zoo, like the Atlanta Zoo.
Okay.
Then I would know where the elephant door is because you could look on a map and see elephants and you would think that.
Now, let me add the context again. We're at an arena.
Okay. Then it would be, unless the elephants had an elephant show that day, I wouldn't know where the elephant door is.
Hypothetically, would it be the giant loading dock with the huge door in the back? Or would it be the parking garage across the street?
I don't know. I've never heard of elephant door.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tony Silva. Let's go to him here.
Okay.
Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour 86 and the contest involved. Right now, we're going to talk about contest number 1, our Rock and Roll Express Lookalike Contest. There's the address. Address it to Rock and Roll Express Lookalike Contest, P.O. Box 11390, Charlotte 28220. Now, this contest is open to boys and girls ages 5 to 13 years of age. Pictures must include both entrants and be no larger than 4 inches by 5 inches. You must have a picture of two together dressed up like the Rock and Roll Express. Not one person in the picture, but two together and no larger than 4 by 5 inches. A person cannot be a member of more than one entry. If you dress up with one friend, that's your entry. You cannot turn around and dress up as a Rock and Roll Express member with another entry. Once again, our entries must be postmarked no later than July 15th of 1986. for our Rock and Roll Express Lookalike Contest. Now, if you would like a copy of the official rules of our Rock and Roll Express Lookalike Contest, send your self-addressed stamped envelope to that address. Make sure you have a self-addressed stamped envelope in your envelope so we can send you the rules back to you. Now, the winners of our Rock and Roll Express Lookalike Contest will get an all-expenses-paid trip to Atlanta, Georgia, to spend a day with the Rock and Roll Express at Six Flags Over Georgia theme park. That is contest number 1. And coming up a little bit later on, information on contest number 2. Let's go to the ring.
Ring the bell. Old Pee Wee calling for the bell. It's Ronnie Garvin going to take on Paul Garner, your great close personal friend of many years.
A couple of things, and I want to get back to this elephant door story, but the kid with the mullet popped me.
Oh, God. When they're doing a lookalike contest, it's like, well, there's Ricky Jr. right there.
There's Ricky right there. And number 2, my hair was perfect.
Your hair looked better than that old JCPenney suit you're wearing. You've worn some interesting clothing that we've seen you wear over the years, especially in WCW, but this might take the cake as far as your worst suit.
Well, what's wrong with a coat from the Stafford collection?
I love you for that deep cut. Boy, that is a real deal, folks. That is an actual JCPenney brand.
Yes, it is.
I know it because they used to sell big and tall back when I was cutting my teeth as a salesperson. And I'm like, Stafford?
That was the Stafford collection, buddy. JCPenney's.
You had some floor shimes on too. I just know it.
Probably so. Hey, so tell me about the elephant door now.
Jeff Jarrett told Silva, hey, meet me at the elephant door. And Silva, just jumped in his car and drove to the zoo in Birmingham. No, not really. But here's the thing. I'd never heard it called an elephant door either. But in the context of it's at an arena, I'm like, oh, he means the really big door backstage where if you had a circus here back when that was a thing, thankfully it's not anymore because those elephants had a terrible life in the circus.
Right.
Anyway, though, you would take him through that door. So in the context of I'm at an arena, if someone said elephant door, I'm like, oh, he means the giant loading dock.
Right.
And I got there on my own. Silva was like, is that near Burger King or where? Do I feed something a peanut? What am I doing? I don't know. And you were like, I don't know. I just didn't expect it. I didn't think that you would be that way, but Silva somewhere right now is fist pumping. Oh, who am I kidding? He doesn't listen to our show. Do you know that he doesn't listen to our show?
Yeah. He doesn't listen to any shows.
No. He listens to Ryder and Hawkins. You know, they got their action figure show. Doesn't miss an episode. He'll come over every now and again. Hey, Hawkins and Ryder talked about you today. And I'm thinking, we talk about you 7 days a week and you have no idea. But literally, and like, he feeds his children from these podcasts. Can't be bothered to listen. I can't keep up, Conrad. You're creating too much content. Well, don't you think you could do a better job on the graphics and stuff if you listen to the show? How can I do that and listen to Hawkins and Ryder? Okay.
Did you see the picture on social media of he and his bride walking down the aisle? I thought for a minute you meant Zach. I was like, I don't think they're married yet.
No. But no, I did. And it's funny, Jeff Jew at doodoo-trucking.com saw that picture of Heather Silva walking down the aisle, looking as only she can look.
Right.
Hand in hand with young David Silva. And doodoo-trucking.com, Jeff Jewett, friend of the show, commented, they look like a lowercase h. Which I knew would make you laugh. Cause she's skinny as a rail and there's a whole hump of a Dave Silva.
but it looked like, at first it looked like, I'm thinking, who's that kid walking her down the aisle?
Yeah.
It looked like just a little kid.
Television news aged his ass.
Boy, you're not kidding, it did. Anyway, back to the original story was that I wish, of all the people that we have connected with, I wish that Ole was healthy enough.
Oh God. Can you imagine
that we could use him, connect with him on our shows?
Can you imagine how many times he would have called you and I, you're a dumb son of a bitch.
Oh
you're
my
a dumb
God.
shit.
It was the highlight of my day many times for Ole to cut a promo on me. It was a highlight of my day. He knew it and he would laugh. You're loving this, aren't you? You piece of shit. No good. Look like Abdullah the Butcher's.
Oh, here we go.
Fans, baby doll, Dusty, 4 horsemen are back now.
You know, traveling throughout this country, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Every night when I'm alone in that car, in that supersonic jet, traveling across the universe, being the American Dream, I know for every man, woman, and child, every race, creed, or color, every black, green, yellow, red, children across this country, there is an American Dream, Ole Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ian Anderson, and the nature boy, Ric Flair. And when you reach out for it and become somebody, nobody can ever take that away from you. You know, I got a letter from a preacher just the other day, and he said, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. He said, you bought a line on Raising Hell and Amazing Grace. And that's true. With every genius that walks this earth, Ole Anderson, anywhere, anytime, any place, he has to be just a little bit on the other side, you understand? Some say I don't play with a full deck, but at least I play the game, you understand? So to come in and take, what we're talking about is the American Dream. To come in with the 4 horsemen and take the American Dream away from these people in this country, the greatest country in the world, it's gonna take more than 4 million, more than 1 million men, more than 20,000 Martians coming from outer space. As long as I breathe, walk, crawl, roll over, and reach out for my people, they gonna be there for horsemen. Ole Anderson, if it comes down to me and you, let it be. That's the way it should be. That's the way it's gonna be.
Man, quick cut there. Oh, it's going to take more than 20,000 Martians to get rid of us out of here. I'm going to tell you now, Tony.
I was wondering, and then all of a sudden it hit me, wondering why we've got Dusty didn't walk out and do a promo on stage there in the set. And they just rolled that in. That's with Bob Caudle, NWA Pro Wrestling.
What we just saw, yeah.
That's when Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling changed to NWA Pro Wrestling. If Dusty cut what he thought was a great interview, he just rolled that in instead of going out there on his own. And so he thought that was a great interview. He's done better interviews, but it still was very good. So how about Warlord? Here's his debut. First time we've ever seen him.
And it's over.
Yeah, it's over. But man, is he just like robotic and stiff?
There's a famous story about Warlord supposedly asking Mr. Perfect, Kurt, to go ahead and inject him in the backstage area with some steroids. And supposedly when he pushed the needle in, the shit just squirted out all the way across the room. And Kurt patted him on the back and said, "I think you're full, big man."
To stand up for what he believes is right. Stand up for his mother, stand up for everything this country represents. But you know, the NWA can do whatever they want. They can take any kind of physical actions they want against me. They can claim that I'm no longer the U.S. heavyweight champion. But everybody out there in the world knows that nobody's beat me for this belt. And that's the bottom line. Now, Nikita Koloff, the Great American Bash, is real special to me because that marks the beginning of the best of 7 series that you and I are going to go through to finally decide this very controversial issue. And if you'll think back in the past, never, and I mean never, have you ever put my shoulders down for a 1, 2, 3. Whether it been a steel chain, whether it been a steel cage, whether it been a lumberjack match, it doesn't matter. You've never got the job done. So what makes you think for 1 minute that you're the man that should have this belt in his possession? The Great American Bash will be the only place we're going to be able to decide who's the man, who's the rightful champion. And I don't think anybody out there believes that a man from Russia is the man to get the job done. I'm holding on to this at all costs. You can have any kind of stipulation you want, but until you beat me for this, it's not going anywhere.
Magnum T.A, let's go to the...
Tony, why did y'all continue to let this happen? Where a guy's out here cutting the promo of his fucking life, and he's really cooking with gas, but you put some goofs out there in cosplay outfits, and the local crowd just stops paying any attention to him when he's giving a money promo, and they start trying to get themselves over with these stupid fucking chants. It ruined the damn show.
Yeah, it did. It was not good. It was not good. No, you're right.
I mean, he was on a roll right there.
When he said the bottom line is no one's beating me for this title, he's exactly right. Well, that was serious business.
It was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then you get these goofs. I get it.
Let me see Ace Ventura out here, and it's like, what the fuck, man?
I know. Oh, ooh, there's the boogeyman.
This started a long time ago. Look at the rat right there. Look at the rat right there. That's what type of person he is. He cut my hair. I broke his arm. It's gotta stop somewhere. This place, this country, this universe is not big enough for me or Paul Jones. It's not big enough, Tony, for me or Paul Jones.
All right, I'm done with that.
Okay. You know what was funky about that whole thing right there?
What?
If he is so mad about Paul Jones,
walk 8 feet and beat him up.
Exactly.
It's just nonsensical.
Well, it was like, it's like the old wrestling studio, right? I want to walk over there and beat him up, but I got to cut a promo, and I'm doing my work over here. So it was weird. It was really weird.
The universe ain't big enough. I mean, I'm looking at him. I could walk over and high five him with 3 strides, but
yeah,
there's not enough space on Earth or the universe for he and I.
Except this space here.
Yeah. These 8 feet, this is impenetrable.
I think Jimmy's going to get involved in this because he almost had to, right? After being 8 feet away.
Jesus.
Yeah. No. So, and it was a fact, and it got to be to where this Paul Jones and Jimmy Valiant angle went on for years. I mean, Paul Jones had this back in when I first started, 83, 84. It was Paul Jones managing the Assassins, Assassin 1 and 2. And they would always have an angle with Jimmy Valiant. He's trying
to draw the referee's attention to the glove.
Paul Jones has walked around behind Valiant.
Jones caught him from behind. Now the Bear.
Oh, and they missed the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Where he hit him with the riding crop. And now, of course, the glove is on, the claw is on, and Ronnie Garvin and Sam Houston are here to make the save.
And Danny Brown, that'll chase people away.
Yeah, to make them change the channel.
Yeah.
Now, is it true that Danny Brown, he actually started a restaurant, and it's a chain all across America now, right? They sell Grand Slams and all that.
Oh, you mean Denny's?
Is that not his place?
No, his place was called Brown's.
Back, one of the four horsemen, the heavyweight champion of the world, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Well, Tony, it's no secret to anybody in the wrestling world that the return of Ole Anderson marks a great day in professional wrestling, because you see, myself and Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson and the legendary James J. Dillon have been out here week in and week out promising the wrestling public the return of The Rock, the return of the fourth horseman. Again, we told everybody at the same time that a fellow named Dusty Rhodes would learn a very valuable lesson upon the return of The Rock. Now, where's Dusty Rhodes today? We don't even see Dusty Rhodes. He sends a lousy interview to be played on TV because he hasn't got the guts to walk in the world's biggest television station, because he knows he might have to run into me. He might have to run into Ole Anderson or James J. Dillon or Tully Blanchard or Arn Anderson. And as sure as I'm wearing $15,000 worth of Rolex watch with a diamond bezel, it's because he hasn't got the guts to back up what he tells all of you he's going to do. Now you see, the Great American Bash is on tour, and the National Wrestling Alliance has seen fit to put up 14 of the greatest challenges of all time. You know what I'm talking about, Tony Schiavone? The 14 top contenders in the world today are going to wrestle Ric Flair for this. The World's Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. We're talking about Memphis, Tennessee. We're talking about Washington, D.C. We're talking about Philadelphia. We're talking about Cincinnati. We're talking about Jacksonville, Atlanta, Greensboro, Norfolk, Richmond. We're talking about professional wrestling at its best. And the world champion, because he is the best, because he's custom made, because he's a kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, that just happens to be the greatest wrestler alive today. I'm going to beat all 14 of them, and that's from Dusty Rhodes to the Road Warrior Animal, to the Road Warrior Hawk, to Wahoo McDaniels, and then I want every woman in the world today, because I am one of the four horsemen, to say, Secretariat, you're more man than we ever imagined one man could be. In other words, girls, what is causing all this?
The heavyweight champion of the world, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Get your paper, get your pencils, because when we come back, a Rock and Roll Express contest number 2.
By the way, I feel like we should mention friends of the show, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, have announced they have a Sizzling Summer Series tour happening later this month in Rome, Georgia.
Oh my
so
God.
just like the old, oh my gosh, a Miss Rock and Roll Express, you can 14 to 17. What?
Girls ages 14 to 17 years of age. Your entry must include a picture no larger than 4 inches by 5 inches of yourself and includes your name, your address, zip code, telephone number, and your birth date in this entry, please. Also, we ask for the Miss Rock and Roll Express contest that you postmark it no later than July 15th of 1986. Now, what we'll do, the Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour lasts for 7 days during the month of August. 6 girls will be selected. 1 as our Miss Rock and Roll Express, 5 as her court, and all 6 will go on the tour on the bus with the Rock and Roll Express during that 7-day tour. However, Miss Rock and Roll Express will escort the Rock and Roll Express to the ring, act as their spokeswoman during the tour, and also get to have dinner with Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. If you'd like to write for Official Rules, P.O. Box 11390, Charlotte 28220. If you want the Official Rules, please send a stamped, self-addressed envelope, and you could be Miss Rock and Roll Express. Let's go to the ring.
My goodness.
You like that sell job right there, point?
And you could be
Miss Rock and Roll Express.
I just imagine you used to do that in the bar where you'd be walking around and be like, if you play your cards right, you could be next. The world champions here tells me personally, you can't be first. It's too late for that. But let's turn that frown upside down. You could be next. Do you like Stoli sea breezes? Have you ever woken up with a jalapeno in your hair? Well, boy, have we got surprises in store for you. May I introduce you to my great close personal friend, Richard Morgan Fleer. You know him better as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair.
Hey, I was Mr. Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour.
Say it 4 times fast.
Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour. Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour. Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour. Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour.
Did you have to practice that before you got on air the first time?
No, because that was my life during this time, man. I went through all the entries. If you asked for the rules, I would mail you the rules back. I did all that stuff. I mean, that was me. I was the driving force behind that. With the help of, I guess, I'm thinking Jimmy Crockett and David, I selected the girls. And not only that, at the end of the tour, Asheville, North Carolina was our last day. It was a Sunday. And we got to choose Miss Rock and Roll Express. And I asked Ricky and Robert, how do we choose Miss Rock and Roll Express? And the
twist.
Don't go to me, okay? Because I know where your mind is going, okay? Because I know your mind resides in the freaking gutter.
What does that mean?
What do you think it means? It means your mind's in the gutter, son. Your parents ever tell you that?
No.
Okay. Then they didn't know you like we do. So anyway, I remember vividly, I told Ricky and Robert, I said, okay, we got to decide. And they said, you decide. I said, no, this is your contest. They said, well, you've done all the work. You decide. I said, so how do we do this? So I came up with this gimmick letter that they wrote. And the gimmick letter was, all 6 girls have been wonderful. It's hard to really choose one. In our mind, all 6 girls are Miss Rock and Roll Express. So we did it. So let's do it by putting all the names in a hat and drawing one. And that's how we did it. But I read this nice letter that was supposedly written by the Rock and Roll Express. And it wasn't. It was written by me. So that's how we did it. That's how we did. I think a girl from up in Lake Hartwell won it. And we had a girl from Ohio and who actually I'm friends with on Facebook now, and her family. And so it was for a week in August, and it was sometimes we didn't do things too well, but we did that one right. And why do you think we did it right?
I don't know.
Because it was organized, well thought out. And who do you think did all the organization?
Probably Ole Anderson.
Yeah, there you go. Good, dumbass.
What?
Mine's always in the gutter. So anyway,
wait, I said Ole and well, how's that in the gutter?
So anyway, that's the Rock and Roll Express Super Summer Sizzler Tour, and it went to places in the Carolinas, right? I mean, on a bus, you're not going to drive to Florida, or you're not going to drive up to the Northeast or to Philadelphia, places like that. So it was a lot of fun. It was very well done. All the guys had a great time. Me and Doug Dellinger, all the girls and their moms. I think one of them had their dad with them. I'm not sure if I recall. And Jimmy Valiant, as I think I've mentioned before, would tag along just so he could not have to fork out the trans. So that's the way it was. Went to Florence, South Carolina, outdoor at the stadium, and sold that place out completely. And I mean, it was like American Legion Stadium in Florence, South Carolina. I never will forget Henry Marcus, who was the promoter, who always bitched about not having good houses because he said they would have Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes in like Philadelphia, and they would bring me as the main event, Jimmy Valiant and the Raging Bull against Baron Von Raschke and Whatley. And that's my main event. And you couldn't draw money with that shit. And so the Super Summer Sizzler Tour came to Florence, and I never will forget, he was in the ticket office, and I knew we had a big house because once the show started, I didn't have anything else to do. Make sure the girls were seated, and I just had to watch the show. So I went to the ticket office, and I opened up the door, and Henry Marcus was in there with money everywhere, counting so much money. And he was like, counting. I opened the door. So Henry looked up. I said, pretty good house for you for a change, wouldn't you say? And he'd like, wave me off. And those are some of the memories I have of that tour. But it was good. It was well done. And I'm not so sure if it was a Jimmy idea or it was a Dusty idea, but I remember Jimmy talking to me about it. But I think it was both of them. Dusty came up with he won't release the Cobra Clutch.
Let's check it here. Something big's gonna happen.
But they just absolutely cleared the ring. You can better believe that Baby Doll is looking forward to the Great American Bash coming right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Tony, let me get into this for right now. You see, I get a lot of mail every week, and all of it's been saying, Baby Doll, why are you getting in the ring against a wrestler? There's no way you can beat a wrestler. Well, that's true. I know personally that I cannot beat a wrestler, but I know one thing, I can beat Cornette because, number one, he's not a man, and number two, he's not even an athlete. Man, if you see that rear end he's been toting lately, I've been getting this working out and everything like that.
Uh-oh, Cornette is out here, Baby Doll. I'm sorry.
One of these goons out here that you have to pay to even hang around you.
Stop and stick that microphone over here. Let me tell you something, you big fat pig. I'm sick and tired of you running your mouth. I'm sick and tired of you telling all these morons what you can do to me. You are frustrated because you're just get that thing over here. You want to get married. You want to have a couple of kids. You want to spend all your time in front of the soap operas stuffing candy in that big fat hog face of yours. That's what you want, and you can't do it because no man will have you. So you're frustrated. You're against all mankind. But I should not even have to.
You never whatever you wanted to.
My hands with you.
Come
I shouldn't have to dirty my hands with you and wait for those bashes. I shouldn't even have to do that. You know what I might do? I might have my man Bubba put you in your place.
Pay him to do something.
Hey, Bubba, would you like to put her in her place right now, baby?
bring somebody out here that he has to pay for.
Okay, fans, we're coming right back. Don't go away.
Boy, Cornette's really.
What?
He's committed to that whole your hog face. And,
man, that was his go-to with her. I just thought how Magnum just here's our man, buddy. I just liked how Magnum just slowly walked out, cool, hands on his hips, didn't do anything, just standing there. He was so fucking cool. He was the man, buddy.
I'm fired up and ready for some Shaska Whatley. I hope that we get a promo after.
You know what? I kind of perused through this show, watched the show, so to speak. We're going to hear from me not once, but twice in this show.
Hang on now. What do you think's going through the mind of the guy taking a beating from Shaska right now? What's he thinking?
You think, okay. Well, man, this little guy, he's powerful. Actually hit the heads that time. Isn't this supposed to be a work? What the flying fuck? Okay. Yeah. Hey, didn't I serve you at a Denny's in Chattanooga one time? And bounce. He spit on me. He spit on me again. And actually, it kind of aroused me. Oh, I'm going to try to punch him back. I got one blow in. I hope they're watching TV today. Hope my kids are watching TV because I got one blow in. Oh, here comes that motherfucking barbarian. He doesn't know how to pull a punch. He's from Tonga. Do you know where Tonga is? I know where Tonga is. Okay. Mr. Barbarian, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. It's when the fuck was I supposed to tag out? Hell, right there. They beating the shit out of me. Yeah. Well, you may have beaten up my buddy, but you can't fucking. Oh, fuck. Man, I'm earning these $25 today. Oh man, I'm earning every bit of it. I'm going to. Okay, I think he called a spot, but I didn't know what he said because I can't speak Tongan. Oh, foot to the face. Yeah. Whoa, can't work that. Oh, I think he knocked a tooth loose, a molar. The right side there with those headbutts. All right. Oh, I never was so glad to lay on the cool concrete floor. What the fuck? No. Jesus. What the fuck in the throat? He's retired and I got to sell that shit, man. Okay. When's it going to be over? Okay. The ropes are. I can't talk. Fucking brother. He's got my face in his crotch. Oh, goddamn headbutt. Oh, I was told it's going to be a 3-minute match. I sure would like to tag in that fucking goof next to me. Here, can you tag me? I'd tag you, but I can't even put my arm up. And this big Tongan will come off with a headbutt. You guys don't think it hurt, but I think you're going to see in the replay that it actually did hurt. Look, my partner's going to come in and beat somebody up. He ain't going to do shit. Beat that fucker up. As soon as I shake out them cobwebs, I'm going to collect. Take a look at me once again. Here goes the head boom. Oh, you see? He motherfucker actually did headbutt me. Let's go to the desk.
Shaska, the Barbarian.
All of you.
Jimmy Valiant, I couldn't be more serious in all my life than I am right now. You made a statement that this world is not big enough for you, and I agree it's not big enough for you and my army in it. Now, let me tell you something, Valiant. The Bashes is going to separate the men from the boys. They're going to eliminate you. No matter how it's done, whether it's done with a loaded glove on top of a pole, or it's done in the hands of Shaska. Baron von Raska is the master of the glove, and this man is the master of taking your hair, and it shall be done.
Jimmy Valiant, I have my orders. I have been climbing the rope day after day, week after week, My body is trim. My body is hard. I am prepared and I am ready. Paul Jones has created an army.
He looks like a dick with ears, too.
Orders, Jimmy Valiant, you're going to fall, and your hair is coming off, and that is all the people. See, Joe Khan and the Barbarian are in the army, and they're gonna get it done too, Shaska. That's right, and I won't hear no more from none of you hillbillies and heathens. I'm gonna tell you what, Jimmy Valiant, you think it's funny. You got this picture out here, got the boss ball-headed. Well, let me tell you something, boy, and I said, boy, you and you gonna be ball, and then if any one of them hillbillies, Manny Fernandez, or anybody else tries to help you, look out, sucker, because we just now getting started. We're going to eat you alive, you and all your thugs, Ronnie Garvin, the Raging Bull, whoever you get, we're ready, we're prepared. The glove, the army.
And we're coming right back.
Tony, let me just tell you, if somehow all your hopes and dreams are true and time travel is possible one day, whatever it costs, me and you, we're going back to like 85 together. And I just want to relive a few years together, mostly because I want to hang out with Shaska Whatley.
Well, SUCKA, hillbillies and heathens.
What do you think Ivan's saying right here?
You see to my left, he's returned from a sabbatical in Minnesota. It's Khrusher Khrushchev, soon to be the repo man, soon to be the black-talk bully, but really he's going to really make his name. Did you have good payoffs when you were a member of Axe and Smash? I did. Axe and Smash. Here comes the axe, and here comes the smash here. And how did the song go? I didn't write the song, but here's the fact. I blew out my knee, and we're going to take a look at how I blew out my knee again. There you see, Sam Houston only weighs 110 pounds soaking fucking wet. But as a dumbass, you know, we're from Minnesota, so we try to outdo everybody else. I go up top, boom, and I hit my knee the wrong way. So I blow out my knee there, and I'm trying to tell Sam, I'm hurting. Sam, I'm hurting. Oh, hell, I can't even put any weight on it. I'm hurting because I tried to go up the top rope. Why I would try to go up the top rope, I don't know. Sam, stay down. I tried to tell him to say, do you think he'd stay down? Hell no. Damn false finish after false finish. And I kept telling Sam, I'm hurting, you dumb son of a bitch. I'm hurting. But Sam wouldn't stay down. Okay. And then he fucking kicked out. Well, here's the deal. Sam's going into business for himself. That's right. I should have won the match. The finish was to be me go over, but Sam realized that I could only stand on one foot. And here come the Road Warriors. Okay. Thank God Dusty sent the Road Warriors out to get this one over with, because I can't even stand on the foot. And now I'm turning around and looking at us. That's a goddamn hawk. And they may hurt me even more. 1, 2, 3. And they even fucking grabbed a leg. Thank God it was the wrong leg. And thank God this is over. So that was the end of my career as I knew it as Khrusher Khrushchev. But I'm back. That happened last year. I don't know why the tape is still rolling. But here's the fact of the matter. I'm from Minnesota. I'm like Kurt Hennig. I'm like Rick Rude. I'm like the Road Warriors. And I'm even like that stiff Warlord. We all came from Minnesota. We all got our gimmicks, and we all made money. But my biggest money is going to be made a little bit later on, Uncle Ivan, when I'm part of Axe and Smash. And yeah, and okay, that's enough. We've seen the tape. We know you're going to make money in the WWF when I was the champion, and we all made big money there. And now we're here with a promotion that's getting ready to spend more money than it makes. That's okay with me because I'm at the end of my career and I've saved all my money. But for the two guys in front of me, Nikita and Khrusher, did they save their money? No. The guy to my right is going to have to be a preacher. He's going to have to ask God for it. Shatoata, Uncle Ivan. That's right. I'm going to leave the wrestling business. I'm going to go into the ministry. In the ministry. Jesus. Let's go to the ring.
Rock and Roll Express here.
I thought it was. Well, look at that.
Now,
the Thompson family brought their kids.
I was going to say that it looked like Laura Schiavone.
No. Well, it could have been.
That's what I'm saying. Little baby Lori.
She was there. Let's see. She would have been 2 years old, a little bit over than 2.
She's 37?
Yes, she is.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Lori was like 27.
That's nice of you to say. She would appreciate you saying that. So anyway, what was I talking about?
About how I was handsome and all that.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can just imagine they knowing in the back that Khrusher had blown his knee out. It was pretty obvious. They sent the Road Warriors out.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, if I'm Khrusher and they send the Road Warriors out and I've hurt my knee, oh my God. Last guys you want to send out if you're hurt, right? So where's it hurt? Oh, by the way, backstage in AEW.
Yeah.
A couple of the young guys, they'll go unnamed, but very young guys that we have says, you have any Scott and Rick Steiner stories for us?
Mm.
I went, oh yeah. And I told them and they just absolutely loved it. The Steiners' reputation has preceded them in many ways. Their reputation, and I'm not talking about reputation for being a great tag team. I'm talking about reputation for just causing some shit backstage.
Right.
Is very, very well documented. And it's fun telling those stories.
So did you tell any of the quote unquote kids about Sharpies or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did?
Told them the Sharpie stories. I told them the Garrett Bischoff story.
Oh, well, I don't know that. What's the Garrett Bischoff story?
Well, Garrett, of course, was a little kid and loved to have fun.
Yeah.
And his dad ran the company.
I remember that.
So he could be kind of obnoxious in the backstage area, and he would like to play around with especially the Steiner brothers.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And so you know what the Steiner brothers we used to do to little Garrett?
What they used to do to little Garrett?
Beat the shit out of him is what they used to do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, push him up against the wall, and he'd laugh. And I'd tell Rick, aren't you being a little rough? He'd go, no, not at all. Bam. So I saw that happen more than once. So I don't know if, I know Garrett's a young man now, big strapping young man. And I don't know if he got any brain damage because of that or not. Could have, possibly. And I told the story about, I told the story about the Germany trip?
No.
We had an announcer named Oliver. It's not the same Oliver, I think, that has been an announcer as of late, but there was a kid named Oliver. It was kind of a skinny kid. He was okay, but he was with us on the trip to Germany, and everybody got, as boys will do overseas, got a little sideways. There have been well documented guys getting out of line over there. A lot of alcohol, a lot of things. So Oliver passed out drunk. Wrong thing to do. So they took it upon themselves to shave him bald, shave off his eyebrows, and write all over his face in Sharpies, including swastikas.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So wake up the next day with that. Again, stay away from the Steiners on the road. And I tell these stories, and I'm thinking, this guy is a member of a school board.
Here comes your Great American Bash update.
The championship, the state 14 times doing the Great American Bash.
14 title defenses for the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And David, also fans around the country waiting to get Baby Doll Doll to get her hands on Jim Cornette. Baby Doll will have her tights on during the Great American Bash and her chance to get her hands on Jim Cornette. From what we saw earlier, she really wants her hands on Cornette.
That's right. Plus, Ron Garvin and Tully Blanchard, Tate Fist. That's going to be in the Great American Bash.
And, of course, the best of 7 for the U.S. heavyweight title, Magnum T.A. and Nikita Koloff. And Jimmy Crockett is with us, president of Jim Crockett Promotions. As we all know, their new World Six-Man Tag Team Champion, Jimmy.
Yes, they are. The Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes are the current champions. We have signed them to meet the former champions and in a cage. And I think that's the only way for this match to take place. And also, Indian strap match, Ron Garvin, Wahoo McDaniel.
And here is Magnum T.A., Jimmy.
Jimmy, I don't want to interrupt your bash update here. I know I said I'd never put this in the hands of anybody that didn't rightfully deserve it, but there's a lot of controversy here that I'm having a hard time dealing with, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to beat the system. You're the only man I trust. I'm putting this in your hands for right now until after the bash is over with. Then we'll be back where it belongs.
I personally hope that I'll be giving it back to Magnum T.A. But on July the 1st, the best of 7 series starts. And
oh, okay. Ivan Koloff.
United States heavyweight title belongs to nephew Nikita. Now, I know what you're all trying to do. You Americans always stick together. Now, this Magnum T.A. is nothing but a coward. And Jimmy Crockett, you're an accessory to a cowardice move of a man that you are sticking up for.
He can win it. In the best of 7, he will get it.
I understand that that's what you have ordered. The best of the 7 in the Great American Bash, Jimmy Crockett. And this is not right. Nephew Nikita is justful owner of the United States heavyweight title. And I am taking it.
Wait a second.
Hold on to it.
Okay. Well, things like that happen when you try to take things away from people.
This guy I'm telling you, he is nothing but coward. He attacks people from behind. You Americans all stick up for him. Whatever you're going to see, nephew Nikita is going to get United States belt back. It justly belongs to him. He come out here and try to assault me like this. That's the only way you Americans can do anything. I see the look on your face, Americans. You get that smart look off of your face. You see, you coming out here and doing the thing like this. They want to order best of the 7 Great American Bash. Nephew Nikita is United States heavyweight.
I'm sorry, we have to go. We have to go.
By the way, check out our new Nephew Nikita shirt available now over at boxofgimmicks.com. Nephew Nikita.
He grabbed me. Son of a bitch, he grabbed me. And I said, well, things like that happen when you try to take things away from people. Great fucking lie. I literally did not know what to do there.
Well, how's that different from any other show?
Okay, as you could tell. And Ivan, of course, grabbed me, and we were kind of like, I don't know. In reality, when you think about it, I probably should have fucking run, right?
Of course.
Fucking Russian bear there. But if I'm going to run, who's going to hold the microphone for him to say what he has to say? So it was. Now, today, they would have taken the microphone from me.
Yes.
Because they do a lot more of that these days, which I really like doing. Guys having their own mics.
Oh, yeah, it means less work for you. You can just
exactly.
You can Schiavone. We know that.
Yeah. No.
Hey, real fast. I don't know. You don't get on Twitter anymore, right?
No, right. I don't.
Well, I'm sure you've heard over the years. Certainly recently.
Wait, hang on a second. Stop. Are you going to hit me with more Twitter drama?
It's going to be something you'll be entertained by.
Okay, go ahead.
So, they're doing this Hidden Treasures show on A&E with WWE right now, right? Where they're going.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, on Sunday night, they do an A&E biography episode where they profile a wrestler, whether it was Ultimate Warrior or it was Stone Cold or it was Roddy Piper or it was Shawn Michaels or Booker T or Mick Foley or Bret Hart, whatever. And right afterwards, they have a collector show where they go try to find WWE artifacts that are now in the hands of collectors. and WWE tries to get them back in their warehouse, that type of deal.
Yeah.
So one of the folks they talked to was Jake the Snake Roberts, and they were looking for his old snake bag. And they started, I know it's funny, but he tells a story, and some of that story would even wind up as part of the Dark Side of the Ring on Grizzly Smith, where they talk about where he was hit over the head with the Honky Tonk Man's guitar. And as a result of that injury, he became addicted to pills and became a drug addict. I don't know another way to say it.
Okay.
So he would blame a lot of his dependency on chemicals on the guitar shot. And I, over the years, have inquired to guys like Jeff Jarrett, hey man, why didn't they just gimmick that? He said, well, I always thought they did, but Earl Hebner would tell me, no, the guys wanted to take it for real.
Mm-hmm.
The guys, they were all macho men and machismo or whatever. No, just lay it in. I don't care.
Lay it in, buddy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, if you ever saw Jeff Jarrett, his shit was balsa wood and exploded into a million pieces. Cause why the fuck would you want to get hit with a real guitar? Anyway, I'm saying all that to say Honky Tonk Man had enough.
Okay.
So he woke up and he chose violence a few days ago. And he tweeted, HTM guitar hits that did not cause crack addiction: Macho Man, Brutus Beefcake, Ultimate Warrior, Superfly Snuka, Bret Hart. Crack cocaine addiction hit: Snake Roberts. And someone said, you are sure not responsible for his addiction. Imagine the gate you could get for a pay-per-view meeting or reconciliation, but that was stiff as hell. I'm a guitarist, and that axe was definitely not gimmicked. It did not give. And Honky Tonk says, we used Strongbow's pocket knife to cut marks in the back to weaken it. The middle and top supports I removed with a screwdriver and a hammer. I used a black marker to cover where the knife chipped out the fiberglass coating. The guitar was on the heavy side, made a good sound. And when people started to fire up about what he was saying, he doubled down. And Honky Tonk Man said, the white dust that flew out of Robert's nose from that guitar hit made 12,000 people in the building that night become crackheads.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then when they cover the whole Dark Side of the Ring thing and the Grizzly Smith thing, he quotes that article and he says, oh no, how did Honky Tonk Man cause all this to a child? No mention of HTM here. I guess I'm saying all of that to say Honky Tonk Man is on fire. He even quoted a cartoon where Bret Hart was in a story and quoted as saying that Jake Roberts was one of the worst guys he ever worked with, and he felt like he was dishonest and a thief. And Honky Tonk Man says, did HTM cause the snake to steal from Bret Hart? And then puts a bow on this whole conversation and says, HTM has given you all the evidence needed for you to decide if Roberts is a habitual liar and blames everyone else for his own choices in life. I'm saying all this to say, this was a feud from what, 87?
Yes.
And it's back again in 2021. If they can bring this back, I'm going to need Ricky Morton and Ric Flair to start sparring again on Twitter. Can we get that going?
No, I think no, there's only one Honky Tonk Man. Morton's not like that. I don't think Flair is like that. That's only one Honky Tonk Man. He's a Twitter, huh?
Twitter. And the only thing better than Twitter is Jim Cornette. Here we go.
will be returned for any of the contests already named.
You know, for one thing, Baby Doll wouldn't be eligible for that contest because you couldn't get a picture of her in a 4x5-inch space. And secondly, anybody that would want to go out with the Rock and Roll Express in the first place would have to be a depraved individual. Now, I saw gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Precious out here. That's what a real woman looks like, Baby Doll. Precious. She's a nice-looking girl, just like Big Bubba. No trouble. Big Bubba is getting to be a sex symbol. All the girls are wanting to go out with Bubba. But ladies, I promise you, he's guarding my body and nobody else's, so you can't have him, even if you do think that he's tall, dark, handsome, and one of the best-looking men you ever seen in your life. Now, Baby Doll, you know, you saw her out here. When the odds even up, she's pretty tough, ain't she, huh, Tony? You see what it is Baby Doll, like I said, you're frustrated. You can't find any man that would sink low enough to have you, so you put yourself in a man's place trying to make believe that they ain't so much, and then when you get the repercussions of putting yourself in a man's place, like being subjected to getting slapped around by me or by Big Bubba here, then you got to call one of your friends, Magnum T.A, for help, or maybe it's Dusty Rhodes, or, you know, she's got a lot of men friends. I don't know how she made them, but she's got them. Oh. She's trying to get their help in the bash, is trying to humiliate me, but Baby Doll, it's not gonna work. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human highlight film of wrestling, Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
By the way, I'm going to use that at the bar one day.
What's that? Which one?
She's got a lot of men friends. I don't know how she got them. It's so open-ended where you didn't say nothing, but you said a lot.
Oh, Jimmy could get away with a lot more stuff back then than he can today.
She's got a lot of men friends, but I don't know how she got them. Dude.
Yeah, man.
That's a line.
Oh, you could throw it out there, buddy. And speaking of, you know what? You know why he hit that line especially there?
Why?
Because of who's hooking up with beautiful Bobby right now.
Oh, excellent. How did I not put that together?
Yeah. Sam Houston. And I guess we can talk to Baby Doll when you have that get together with her, but I don't.
You should do a run-in. Do a run-in.
I probably shouldn't.
Hold the microphone for her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say, Nicola, you had a lot of men friends. Don't know how you got them.
Oh God. And just hang up. Oh, that's what you should do. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Mrs. Doll, is it true that you had a lot of men friends? Cause I'm curious how you got them. I'll hang up and listen.
And thanks for calling me KSHIT in Cody, Wyoming. So did
you say KSHIT?
Yeah. It's a well-known station. There's WSHIT.
Wait, there's a K shit.
Yeah. There's a WS. Is there a
WTF?
There's a WSHITV in somewhere.
There's a shit TV somewhere.
So, that's an old joke. Okay. So anyway, were they married at this time? Is that documented that Baby Doll and Sam were married by this time?
It was this year.
It was this year they got married. Okay. So right now they're having relations, I would think.
I mean, you said the other day she showed up with a wedding ring.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I don't remember saying
we were doing.
Sure?
Yeah. I didn't imagine. I didn't dream. I'm not dreaming about Baby Doll.
Well, you do like 100 podcasts a week. It could have been somebody else.
Well, you said, I think she's got a wedding band on.
Okay.
I mean, you said that with your mouth meat.
You sure now? Because a lot of you make up a lot of shit that I supposedly say.
Wouldn't make that up.
Yeah. And thank you for doing a lot of that, because we sell shirts over at boxgimmicks.com and lowestrules.com because of the crazy shit that I say.
Is it just me, or have we had some fun with this show? I was thinking about that the other day, that out of all the shows I do, this is probably the most fun one.
Yeah, we have a great time because we're just two friends watching wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And watching all the great stuff that went on back then. And
it's just funny though, because you and I, by the way, for sure, she married Sam Houston in 86. She got divorced in 84. Married her current husband in 2017.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
She got divorced in 94, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I say 84?
You say 84.
Yeah. That would be badass if she quantum leaped and went backwards and said, I'm going to undo this before I even get started.
How many people would want to do that?
I can think of one I'm talking to today. I
Quantum leap back to 1980. Woo. Okay.
Serious business. You and Lois are on a bit in real life, as you and I are recording this. You and Lois are on a bit of an anniversary trip right now, huh?
We are on an anniversary trip. We started in Jacksonville, Florida, when we had a big weekend of taping for the month of June. And as I'm talking to you now, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina.
You guys just got back from Baltimore and had a great time there.
Baltimore, exactly right. And making our way back down through after Wilmington, making our way across back home. So that's what we're doing.
Can I tell you that
it's been a great 40th anniversary, hasn't it, honey? You can say something.
Oh, man.
She's worn out, man.
You wore her ass out last night?
Yeah, I wore her ass out last night. I mean, we've had how much sex have we had on this trip?
Did you stand up in it, Tony?
Not mine.
She can't even talk. She can't even put two words together.
I heard she was getting lightheaded.
She is getting lightheaded.
You ever have one pass out on you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but man, we've been having a lot of sex, haven't we, honey?
You know, it makes me think of my favorite barbecue place.
What?
Yeah. They're saying is too much pork for just one fork.
Well, we had old people sex, which means we just did a lot of belly bumping.
The Bastards are coming. The Bastards are coming. Jim Crockett coming out here, announcing all the matches last week. The 10 rounds. 3-minute rounds, just like boxing. Except for the thing is, it's only going to be tape fist. Ronnie Garvin, you and me. And this is on the line right there. The National Heavyweight Championship. Well, Garvin, you talk about that hands of stone. Talk about how bad you are. It's ordinary tape. Well, I tell you what, JJ and I, we went to Sugar Ray Leonard's trainer just to see how to tape up that fist real hard. Because, Sugar Ray Leonard was the one that knocked out their hands of stone, Roberto Duran, right? Caller, no mas, no mas, no mas. The great hands of stone went down. Well, it's going to be just like that. I won't be Sugar Ray Leonard. I won't be up there doing fine as you can be, right, JJ?
That's it. Ronnie Garvin, the time is drawing near. Like Mr. Blanchard said, the Bash Fever is coming to a fever pitch. The trouble with having to wait is the anxiety building up inside of you. It's like watching for a kettle of water to boil. You sit there and watch it, it's never going to boil. Well, you sit and watch us. You watch the tape. You watch the time's going to come around, and all of a sudden, it's going to be history, and you're going to be history.
Be just like Norfolk, JJ.
Fans, we're coming right back. Don't go away.
So let's mention where we are, by the way. Later this same day, June 14th, we're going to be in Baltimore, Maryland at the Civic Center. Going to draw 5,500 fans as we see Chief Wahoo McDaniel going to take on Thunderfoot here. The main event there in Baltimore was Magnum T.A. and Tully Blanchard in a non-title barbed wire match.
Wow.
We also had Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey taking on Wahoo McDaniel and Ron Garvin. We had Arn Anderson fighting Manny Fernandez to a time limit draw. We should mention that same day, the UWF was running down in New Orleans, and they had a lot of the talent there in New Orleans, not in Baltimore, including singles action for Robert Gibson against Baron Von Raschke. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why would he be in singles? It's because Flair is working with Ricky Morton.
Right.
We would also see Dusty Rhodes team with Bill Watts and Dr. Death.
Whoa.
To take on the Russian contingent. The undercard included this fun little match to mention: Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts, the Freebirds, and they pick up a win over the Blade Runners, a young Ultimate Warrior and Sting.
Wow.
The next,
now that is back in time, man.
That's history, baby.
Yeah, it is. Good stuff.
On the 15th, we're back in Wilmington, North Carolina at Legion Stadium. We've got the Midnight Express taking on the Rock and Roll Express in a non-title 2 out of 3 falls match. The following day, on the 16th, we're in Greenville, and we've got Dusty Rhodes teaming with Magnum T.A. to defeat the Midnight Express in a lumberjack match. Of course, tag title's not on the line. The Rock and Roll Express would be able to pick up a win over Tully and Arn, who at the time, as you just saw, are the national heavyweight champion and the television champion. And on the 17th, we did a television taping, and we're going to be talking about this a lot here in the coming weeks. It's Greenwood, South Carolina, and there's a segment filmed here where Big Bubba throws down Baby Doll. And Dusty Rhodes runs out, smashes a wooden chair over Bubba's head. Bubba doesn't flinch and adjusts his hat. And then, of course, moments later, Magnum T.A. comes out with 2 shovels. And boy, is that symbolic or what? And Jim Cornette and Bubba leave the ring. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. The main event that night, it was a dark match. It's Ricky and Robert taking on Flair and Tully. But what a big time taping that was. But the show keeps going. Raleigh, North Carolina, the next day on the 18th in Dorton Arena. Your main event there is the Midnight Express taking on Ron Garvin and Wahoo. That same day, the world champion was in Miami Beach. He's all over the place. We've got Lex Luger, who is the Southern champion down there in Florida. He's going to pick up the win over Ric Flair. Now, Flair's world title was not at stake. It was only Lex Luger's local Southern championship. On the undercard, and this is worth noting because of what's going to happen in coming years, Stan Lane wins a battle royal. So pretty big match here in 86. And now we see Shaska. Let's track it.
Let's know that. Excuse me, boss.
Thank you, Jim Crockett. You see, Jim Crockett is making it possible for myself and the Army to eliminate Jimmy Valiant.
Because Jim Crockett is going to bring the people the most exciting matches in the bashes.
And that means we can bring our equalizers. And I'm talking about a glove match on top of a pole.
Jimmy Valiant doesn't know that the Baron has never lost a glove match. And the Baron has caused brain damage after brain damage on wrestlers with this heavy glove.
You know, and the people know, I do not need a glove to beat anyone. I never use a glove to beat anyone. But in this case, it's a pole above the ring. The glove, a loaded glove, placed on the pole. And you're talking about the Great American Bash. As soon as I climb the pole and get the glove, Jimmy Valiant, it's going to be bash, and it will be the Great German Bash.
And Valiant, you will go out as a bald-headed geek when Shaska gets through with you. When I get through, I can't wait, because there's going to be your hair more than this right here, Jimmy Valiant. I'm going to get your hair and throw it to all your hillbilly fans and let everyone of them see that you a yellow coward, a disgrace to wrestling, I'm the one that's going to prove it to you and let all you know that Jimmy Valiant is going down. More hair, Jimmy Valiant. My hair is going to be all here and yours is going to be gone. You people better say bye to Jimmy Valiant now.
Fans, don't forget, next week, Championship Wrestling at 8:05 a.m. Eastern. Robert Gibson, Arn Anderson with a World TV title, and we'll see you next week on World Championship Wrestling.
I fucking love Shaska Whatley, dude. He's on my Mount Rushmore favorite people to watch now.
Wow. You were talking before the show ended here about the venues, and Dorton Arena in Raleigh, man, I don't know if that place is still there. Worst ever. Worst ever.
But it was historic.
It was the worst place ever to wrestle. Ask anybody ever wrestled there. Glass building. JR and I were talking about just a couple of weeks ago. I said, you remember Dorton Arena in Raleigh? He went, oh, worst place ever.
Let my family save your family some cash. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket, but we will save you money. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of how much. SaveWithConrad.com.
No air conditioning.
Opened in 1952. I'll have you know.
It's still there?
Yeah.
Whew. You talked about Legion Field here in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's still around. That's a 6,000. I looked it up. A 6,000 seat outdoor stadium because Wilmington never did have a big arena back then. Wilmington's a great city, man. Great beach city, and
it was designated as a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark by the American Society of Civil Engineers in 2002.
What, Dorton Arena?
Yeah, it's a cool looking building.
Yeah, I'm glad it looks great. Stand on the outside and look at it. Stay out. You wonder if they could put an extra couple $1 million in it to have an air conditioning system.
You wonder if you could, quit being such a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Okay. It was the fucking worst. It was, you couldn't even breathe in that place.
Tell me about all the buildings you built. How many awards did they win? Here's what you built. You built Chris and Matt Schiavone. What'd the civil engineer say about them shits? I bet they need a little air conditioning.
No, they said, go back, son, and redesign something else for us.
I'm going to quantum leap your ass back in time. Yeah. We're going to get some air conditioners in Dorton Arena, and we're going to get that windsock to keep from coming off for you every time you mount up.
Don't worry about it.
By the way, let's run through the other towns as we're marching through. We got through the 18th. The 19th, we're in Columbia, South Carolina at the Township Auditorium. We're in Hillsville, Virginia on the same day. But buddy, this stands out like a sore thumb. The Hillsville, Virginia show. And I've told you guys for years here on the show, don't ever go to Virginia. It's a piece of shit state. Nothing good ever came out of there.
Christ.
The only good thing to come out of Virginia is the interstate. Anyway, just kidding. That's for Tony. Jimmy Valiant's working with Shaska Whatley there. And the Midnight Express are working with Manny Fernandez and Hector Guerrero. Shout out to San Antonio. They drew 600 people. 600 people.
That's right on the North Carolina border, though. Also,
Richmond, Virginia. The very next day, June 20th, we've got Dusty and Magnum taking on the Midnight Express in a non-title bunkhouse match, and that goes on last. And right before that, we had Flair teaming with Tully to take on the Rock and Roll Express in a Texas Tornado match, and of course, Ole Anderson's going to get involved. Magnum would be working with Ivan Koloff in a Texas Death match. We had Arn working with Ron Garvin in a tape fist match. It's an interesting show, an interesting time in the company. And then we'll be back next week where I believe we're going to see Ric Flair in-ring action, which is pretty rare for TBS, but it's happening next week right here on the show.
Yeah. I was thinking about that 600 paid gate.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned there was always, there'd be a spot show. There was an A card and a B card.
Yeah.
Ric Flair and Dusty and Rock and Roll Express normally on that. And usually on the B card, it was Jimmy Valiant, Raging Bull, Paul Jones's Men. And that really didn't draw like the others. They had to have those all together for it to draw. They couldn't draw on their own. And that was, I mentioned Henry Marcus, and I mentioned this before. He always bitched. Only thing I get is Boogie Woogie Man and the Raging Bull and Paul Jones. Nobody wants to see that shit. Well, they certainly didn't want to see it in Hillsville, Virginia, did they?
No, they did not.
No, they did not. So we ran 2 shows, but maybe we shouldn't have, because, well, they had payoffs back then, right? And they didn't pay trans. So the only overhead would have been the building. So they probably didn't lose that much money that night.
Well, hopefully you guys aren't losing money listening to us. We hope we've entertained you and contributed to your day and overall health and wellness. That's what we're all about. We want to put smiles on faces, and we hope we've done that today. And we're going to continue down this march of 1986. Next week, we'll be covering the June 28th edition, or I'm sorry, the 21st edition. Apologies. And then we'll hit the 28th, and then we're doing the old Great American Bash show from 1986 in Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very special event for us here on What Happened When. I'm fired up about it. You and I've been talking about it for a little while, and it's almost here. So mark your calendars, boys and girls, just a few weeks away from Great American Bash in Charlotte. But right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
It is about that time as we go out to the elephant door and we see the elephants standing there themselves. Oh, no, it's Dave Silva. It's Conrad Thompson. You hillbilly heathen suckers. We're desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you each and every Wednesday on Cumulus, but on Mondays exclusively on
Patreon. Patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.